Okay. So this is going to be Celtic Guardian versus IceKholdStare for the third time in a row tonight. We're going to get IceKholdStare into the ring. IceKholdStare obviously still playing that deck that we saw earlier. But just to recap, it is a mostly Justice. It's kind of mono Justice. But splashing Grodov's Burden so that you can get the Grodov's Burden, Kodosh's Armor combo. That's what 4 out of the 8 rares that you're allowed in this format are spent on in this deck. And then the other deck is going to be Argenport from Celtic Guardian, which is kind of standard idea of what an Argenport list might be right now. This one goes into the unseen direction. There was another Argenport list that we saw before that went a lot more into having like revenge units and value, stuff like that, doing a lot of Stone Powder Alchemists. This one's going to be using the Reborn Master, Outcast Elite, all those kinds of things. The rares are Unseen Longbow, Deadly Confrontation, Commando, Cast into Shadow, and Bisma. So we got some cool ones there. And, of course, like Zelia up at the top as well. We're going to hop on into the games, though. I'm going to watch Celtic Guardian for the start. Alright, they said they're ready. So I did all that intro, because I thought they were ready. They hadn't challenged. We're getting them challenging right now. They said they were ready, so I assumed that meant that they had challenged. Which is the thing you've got to do. Alright, here we go. Celtic Guardian versus IceKholdStare, who is on a roll. 2 matches down tonight, 2 wins. We've got a good start here from Celtic. I like this hand. And now the real important part of card games comes into play here for Celtic. Luck. Because what do you roll on the battle skill? If it's something like Unblockable, the game's already over. If it's something like Reckless, well, suddenly we have a tough situation for Celtic Guardian. There's a wide range of problems here that could happen.
Look inward.
Berserk. Berserk is a good one. Who is IceKholdStare in chat? IceKholdStare. I was almost curious if Celtic Guardian would decide to put it on the Ghostblade Outcast so that the Exalted could move over. I think this is correct, but it's just an interesting thought experiment that, like, it's kind of nice to have it on the Exalted one.
I never miss. We fight to survive.
So much pressure already on IceKhold. IceKhold also not even having a 3-drop yet. I guess maybe waiting for the hero? Yeah, nice. So sandbagging and slow playing the hero a little bit to make sure they got the Exalt trigger. Celtic Guardian has a Slay? Yeah, I was going to say the Var's intervention into Slay actually works. Giving that minus, and then just killing the leftovers. Celtic not opting to Berserk there. I'm surprised by that. I feel like that's the moment where you wanted to get in. I guess now there is the Crown Watch standard. Maybe Celtic is a lot smarter than I am. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's fair. Celtic waited until Crown Watch Tactic was live. That makes perfect sense. It puts IceKhold into a terrible, terrible spot. Because no matter how they block this, they're going to end up on the losing side of things. We know that IceKhold does have Reinvigorate. It looks like they might be doing that. IceKhold might be reviewing Celtic's deck, because they do both get deck lists. Yeah. Here comes the pump. Reinvigorate is +1. That's enough to save it. Ooh, it's Touch of Battle. Okay. That'll also work. And I mean, it's a bad spot for Ice Cold, but that's probably the best they could have done to mitigate that.
In anywhere.
I mean, you can't just let that 5 stay alive. Oof. And now Unseen Commando on Celtic's side. Is that lethal? No. It's close. It's very close. If charge it... Oh, no, it is. It's exactly lethal. When did this get 2 skills? Well, in any case... Oh, because I had Berserk first. Right. That's why. I was thinking that didn't have 2 skills, so I thought it was 1 short. Awesome. Woof. Well, Berserk actually ends up being a good skill, as we said. Luck definitely matters in a matchup where you're running a bunch of Outcasts and Tranquil Scholars, because when you're Outcast Elite and Tranquil Scholar, anything can happen. And we're going to watch now from Ice Cold's side. Yeah, and it's amazing how much Berserk mattered, because, like chat's saying, I mean, Berserk's the only one that would actually give it 2 skills, too. Like, that was the only real way to get that much damage that fast. Even better than just double damage. At least in 1 turn. Alright, and we're good to go. I'm guessing that Celtic is just checking. Yeah. Nice opening hand here for Ice Cold. Silverwing Familiar and Wind Conjuring has been a brutal combination over the last few games. And I can imagine it still is.
Look inward.
Enthydinken Hadplan. Yes. Just very dry today. Make sure I get my water. God, that killer is so sick here, too. I mean, immediately, these Silver Wings are so blanked. And you know that right afterwards, even if you play one and get rid of the killer on the board, there's another one in hand. Like, what are the odds that there's just another one in hand ready to get the next thing? So you need to wait until you're at 5, at least? I mean, can you even do that? Ice Cold's in a rough spot here. And now, thanks to the Mask Maker, Unseen Commando's in the same position. It still just gets killed immediately. Something that would have been a good draw just half a moment ago.
Look inward.
Oh no, another Tranquil Scholar. Celtic might be building up a monster card in their hand. Well, okay, the next... the next ability was not as good as the first one. Yeah, and Ice Cold... they're gonna have to start throwing away these units. I mean, going down to 5, I don't think that's acceptable. It's not a place where you can win from. So we've got to see something come down. I was going to say, if I'm Ice Cold, I'd probably play the Silverwing Familiar. The reason being that... Okay, well, there we go. I was going to say, Celtic might not actually fight it. And it might give you a chance to hold up the Wind Conjuring. Wow, Ice Cold is unable to draw any power cards, and that looks like it's going to be the game. Technically not dead on board.
To survive.
Still not technically dead on board, but at 1 life, Ice Cold is drawn dead. Is that... Well, wait. Is that enough? It can't be enough, can it? 6. Block 1. Take 8. It still killed him. Okay, and now Slay comes down anyways. Wow. What a decisive win here for Celtic. Unbelievable. Wouldn't even matter for the pump. Celtic just had play after play after play after play for that whole game. And yeah, that... When the RNG goes right for those unseen decks, boy, it really goes right. Killer and Berserk as the first 2 abilities off Tranquil Scholars was just more than enough to put those 2 games away. Didn't even matter the next one was Reckless. Way too many good skills off those. And we have Ice Cold finally going down. Very sorry to see after so long. Very hard fought. A good run up to this point. But Celtic Guardian will take it 2-0.